Okay, here we are at part two here in week 5. Your video is split up into two separate videos. What we're doing here is picking up at step 31. We're going to be using alpha to change the opacity of the movie clip as it sort of moves through our background or our scene 2 here. And we're also going to affect the path of that motion tween. But up to this point, we've had motion tweens that just sort of move from point A to point B in a straight line, and we're going to affect that, basically that direction. Okay, so here I am at step 31, rename layer 1, alpha bird 1. You can probably guess that we're going to have more than one alpha bird, so we're going to name that alpha bird 1. It says insert a keyframe at frame 30, so I'm going to go here, insert a keyframe. And it says drag the bird movie clip onto frame 30, sort of bottom right of the stage. So I'm going to go over to my library and I'll grab my bird movie clip, which we've been working with up to this point. Remember, we did all that work to make this bird fly, and now we're trying to sort of take advantage of that work and use it as much as we can and as efficiently as we can. We're going to insert a frame here at step 34, insert a frame at frame 80. So this should all be review. I'm going to create a motion tween. And then I'm going to grab the movie clip. I'm going to sort of make sure I'm on frame 80 there. I'm going to grab the movie clip and move our little birdie up to the top right. Okay, and notice our little path, our little motion tween there. We're going to sort of deal with that in a second. Okay. Now, next thing we're going to do is deal with the alpha, and this gets a little tricky, gets a little click happy, and you got to sort of make sure you know where you're at and make sure you know what it is you're affecting. Okay, so I want you to notice a couple things. One is that I have the bird movie clip over here. It's got the bounding box. That means it's selected. It also means it's selected because that's sort of grayed out up there. I can sort of tell if I have the bird movie clip selected by the easiest way is to probably just click on that movie clip on the stage, and it selects that whole motion tween, but more specifically the sort of last frame of that motion tween. Okay. Now I'm going to go to my Properties tab, and it says choose the color effect. Excuse me. Over in the Properties tab. The Properties tab is basically a tab that allows us to sort of change the sort of characteristic of something likely within a tween, and in this case it is going to be within a tween. We have something sort of at a certain position here at frame 30. We've moved it up to frame 80, and then during this tween we're going to affect what's called its alpha. Alpha, and I'm going to choose basically from my drop down menu here, it says color, and then we have style. Alpha is a slider bar, and it's basically the opacity of something. At 100%, we're going to see that whole thing, and at 0, which is step 39, pull the alpha from 100 to 0, we don't see that thing. Okay, so we can sort of grab our playback head, and I can see as our bird movie clip moves across, we sort of lose its opacity. Okay, or in this case, it's alpha. Okay, so know where you're at when you do that. Make sure you are on the movie clip, and the easiest way to sort of is to click on that stage and the sort of end, and you'll see that your tween lights up basically, and that you can grab that alpha. Okay. Now, the last thing we're going to do, and play with this, take your time with this. It gets a little tricky. I sort of noted on the sheet steps 30, I think 35 through 39 or so can be a little tricky in terms of clicking on that. Take your time. Back up, do it again if you need to. Okay. The last one is fairly simple, and this is grab a point, step 41 here. We're going to sort of click on the path that represents our tween. The easiest way to do this is I'm going to sort of click away from everything, and sometimes I click in this blank area. And what it does is it leaves this tween. Okay, it shows us this tween. We can sort of see where the tween is. As we sort of move out of frame 80, you'll see it disappear because the tween doesn't exist. Okay, if you have something selected up here, the tween, it's going to be a little harder to grab it, so I like to click away from it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to this path, and I'm going to click hold, and I'm going to grab it. Okay, and I can affect the sort of curvature of this tween, and later we'll get into sort of affecting it in sort of multiple points. I can sort of pull it out this way, I can pull it this way. I can do all sorts of things with it. I'm going to do a simple sort of curvature that's going to allow a different sort of path, meaning a different shape, moving from point A to point B. Now, when we were to control test our movie, and that's not in the sheet here, but I just want to show you. First we have our first scene, which we added a background to. Then we cut to another scene, and here comes our bird sort of flying in. Okay? Those are the two main things with this video, affecting that alpha and affecting the sort of curvature of that path. Your step 42 says create two more motion tweens with the bird movie clip, and you're going to be adding an alpha and an altered path to each of those. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Hopefully you sort of know what that means at this point. So you're going to be adding two more layers, so you'll probably add an alpha bird 2 and an alpha bird 3 layer and have them animate really just sort of somewhere on the timeline. I started this scene by giving us room, and I'm sort of showing you all the way out to 160. You can have these guys sort of flying in a similar area as your alpha bird 1. I don't care. What you need is 3 versions of this bird on this scene. Okay. Last but not least, you're going to be saving this as the sheet states, and this one's going to be called timeline.swift. Okay, so use the naming conventions that I have on there and save this as timeline.swift. If we file save as, remember, we are saving a new copy of this thing, so you'll still have your movie clip from last week, and this is just sort of a version that has been expanded upon in relation to these concepts. Okay. Last but not least, you should be working on your project 1. I've chatted with a few people online about this. Please follow the due dates, etc. For that. I'll be grading everything you did this week, including your critique of that video, The Street we watched, as well as any other exercises. So, good luck. Email me with questions, concerns, and look forward to seeing your timelines.